All right. Yo, yo, yo. What is good, everybody? It is your boy, Lincoln Clay, coming back at you with another live stream. It is the Godfather of Gaming, the Ageless Wonder. You know what to do. Hit the like button, hit the bell icon, blah, blah, blah. If you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. So I'm just getting home from dropping my son off probably about 45 minutes ago. And, it was, and I wanted to do this as soon as I got home, but I got a little bit caught up of watching Sick Humor play Mafia 3 and watching the real Lincoln Clay go to work. So, I played that game through 2.5 times. I played it through two full times, and I was going to play it through a third time, so I could gain some, because I wanted to record some clips from it to use for videos, but I never, made it that far before I started messing around with other stuff. But it's still cool to watch him play. I mean, I'm talking to you guys, but I'm also watching him play right now on my phone. Also, I realized that I believe Draco Rex is still podcasting right now too. So shout out to him. So didn't mean to end up doing this podcast while both of them are doing what they do. But I don't know. I had a lot of things that on my mind that I wanted to talk about, VR related, and or more than anything, open it up to the chat. You guys want to talk about anything VR related? I'm all ears. I plan on chatting here. I plan on being here for about an hour at the most. But as we get closer to the launch date of the Oculus Rift S and the Oculus Quest, I begin to wonder more and more about some of the things that people may be concerned about as far as those headsets goes. And you guys that's been, following me know that I'm caught in this predicament of wanting to add another headset, but every headset has a trade-off. Whether it's I question the tracking, whether it's the controllers, whether it's the price. Every one of those, one of those concerns applies to at least one headset. I mean, the whole purpose, you heard me say before, I want to upgrade to a headset with better resolution. But as far as upgrading to a headset with better resolution, you guys know that the two biggest obstacles staring at me is either price or me being skeptical of the tracking. Yeah, you guys heard me say it before. I think with the Valve Index, that might, out of the headsets that are coming out this year, I think that might provide me with the best tracking, being that it uses those base stations. I think those Valve knuckle controllers, I think those are going to be pretty cool. The headset itself, the 1600 per eye resolution, I think is good, but I think for what this whole setup is going to cost, I don't know. I think they should be giving you a little bit more resolution. They are giving you a higher refresh rate. Don't get me wrong. 120 hertz refresh rate is going to be pretty good. And they have the they have the 140 experimental refresh rate. So I don't know. Truth be told, I'm not sure. Craig Harris, what is up? What is up? Wow. Mr. Harris, I'm talking VR. And I don't know how much you've been following VR. If you've been following it as closely as I have with the other podcasts that I've been watching, trying to stay on top of what's going on with the other headsets. But where I'm going with this is, you're welcome to join me if you wish. So one thing's for certain, also, Mr. Harris, that next week, hopefully there'll be more news to talk about this week coming up. Because I plan to get back to live from Wakanda, uh, next Saturday. Don't get me wrong, the Lincoln Show VR editions that I've been doing with Gamertag VR and Joystick Guru have been tremendous. I mean, those are some of the best Lincoln shows that I've done. Those two are very knowledgeable, and it was a joy having them on the show. I definitely appreciate it. So shout out to Joystick Guru and Gamertag VR. Now, my apologies to the viewers as well as Joystick Guru that we had technical difficulties yesterday, because I think that would have been the ultimate VR podcast if the three of us would have been able to be in that podcast together. But we had technical difficulties with Joystick Guru. We could hear him, but he could not hear us, and he was wanting to listen to the podcast and then respond to questions that way. But I think the 7 to 10 second delay probably would have caused an overlap in terms of people chiming in. So we're going to try this again. Hopefully the next time I hook up with him, we'll have these technical issues resolved. So, but yeah, I've been thinking a whole lot, again, about these headsets. The list of headsets that I've been wanting to upgrade to, and in a nutshell, I think that I was saying about the Valve Index, I think for $1,000 for the entire package, I think if it was up to me, I think I would have been okay with a 90 hertz refresh rate and given a higher resolution, like a 2160 per eye. I think I would have been fine with that because I believe the HP Reverb will have a resolution of 2160 per eye. And so I think I would have preferred that. I mean, $1,000 is pretty steep. And I don't know. I think, from what I'm hearing about the Valve Index, I'm hearing that, nothing in that headset is revolutionary. I guess it doesn't have eye tracking, which is what I believe that the PlayStation VR 2 is going to have. So it follows your pupils and, focuses the resolution on where you are looking. So wherever you're looking at is going to be the clearest. I'm wondering how that's going to work. I'm wondering if the thing's going to have a hard time keeping up with your eyes, and wherever you look, you're going to have. I'm wondering if you're going to see a blur for a split second before it comes into focus. I hope that's not the case because it'll be a total turnoff. And if that is the case, I hope there's an option where they can allow you to turn eye tracking off. If it doesn't work as advertised. So, but I'm not really concerned about the Valve Index not having eye tracking. It's the cost. Because I think out of the headsets that going to be coming out this year, I think the Valve Index will have tracking that I trust the most because it's going to be using the HTC style of base stations that you place in opposite corners of the room. So I think out of those headsets that's going to be coming out, I trust the Valve Index the most as far as the tracking goes. But again, for how much it's going to cost, I think you should be getting something a little bit better than the 1600 resolution. But I mean, in some sense, who am I to talk? Because I'm still, with 1080p with the current Oculus Rift that I have, but I do have superior tracking. I don't have a game in my library where I'm concerned about tracking. But this inside out tracking technology, I'm skeptical of it. And so that is one of the reasons why I'm really anxious for the Rift and the Quest demos to go live at Best Buy, because I plan to go there and test them. And the inside out tracking technology sounds cool, but I'm still skeptical of it, because I still feel like that there's going to be some spots where the camera's not going to be able to see the controllers, and you're going to lose tracking. You know, and I've seen videos, and I've seen about 2 or 3 videos on the Samsung Odyssey. Support Gaming, what's up? I've seen 2 or 3 videos on the Samsung Odyssey. At first, I was going to buy that. You know, it was going to $500. You get the headset and 2 controllers. The controllers don't look that bad. You know, it has a resolution of 1600 inside out tracking, but it only has 2 cameras. And the 2 or 3 videos that I've seen on the Samsung Odyssey all point out that if you reach behind your head or behind your back for more than a second, you're going to lose tracking. And so that's a big concern of mine. So, I mean, to get optimal performance out of something like that, I'm led to believe that, you're going to have to play games with, with 360 degrees. No, 180 degrees is what I meant to say. So, I mean, I can play 360, and with my Oculus Rift with the 3rd sensor, gives me superior tracking. Speaking of which, I've ordered some sensor mounts from Amazon. It's a pack of 3 for about $15, and they're tape mounted. It comes with the tape for you to mount it on the wall, as I don't want to go through the hassle of nailing or drilling shit to the wall. So I'll be able to just put it up on the wall with tape. So once I get those, I should get them by the end of the week. And I can, stick them on the wall, and, elevate them to about 6 feet high, maybe a little bit taller. And then I'm going to definitely have superior tracking, because they'll be above me and aiming down. So, that's going to, I think, give me optimal tracking. 1 second, folks. Okay, sorry about that. Now, I think out of the headsets that's coming out this year that will utilize the inside out tracking, but does not have any kind of outside tracking method, I think the Oculus Rift S might be the best, because it has 5 cameras. It has 2 on the front, 2 on each side, and 1 on top. Support Gaming, I'm on the wait and see. I'm on the wait and see on next gen for VR based on who's going to have the best gaming VR experience. Support Gaming, do you have any VR headsets as of right now? I mean, do you have a PSVR or Oculus or Vive? Do you have any of them? Because out of the current VR headsets that are out there right now, I'm led to believe that the standard Oculus Rift or the HTC Vive is going to give you the best tracking, because of the sensors and the lighthouses. I think in the case of the PlayStation VR, I think for the most part, tracking's decent, but yes, there are some tracking issues that can arise. For instance, we know that the camera tracks the lights on all the controllers and on a headset. So if you put like a Move controller, I think like dead in front of your face, PSVR launch headset and PSVR remodel version. Okay, yeah, I've had them both. The PSVR launch headset, I gave that to Craig Harris, and then then I have the remodel version. Um, one of the reasons I guess why I never really paid that much attention to how important tracking is, because all this time, what's up, Puppy Piper? Um, all this time that I've been playing the PlayStation VR, I've never had a game. You're planning on buying a headset? Do you have a gaming PC? Um, okay, you thinking Rift S or Oculus Quest? Ooh, it should be strong enough for the Rift S. Like, what do you got for RAM and the processor and the graphics card? What do you got for those three? One thing a lot of these manufacturers are doing with these headsets that are coming up is keeping the system requirements low, so people with um, mid-end PCs can still get in on the on this VR stuff. I think with that said, minimum RAM, you need like 8 gigs. Usually, in most cases, like minimum of eight gigs of RAM. I think with the processor, some of them is like, as far as Intel goes, some of them you need a processor as low as like an i3, which I'm not expert in all these processors and all this stuff, but some of them say minimum, i3. Some of them have a minimum of i5, but recommended, to get optimal performance, they might recommend i7. I have an Alienware Aurora R8 PC that I spent $2,000 on about 3 weeks ago. It has 16 gigs of RAM. It has a RTX 2080, 2070. I'm sorry, and it has a i5 9600. I think 9600X. Okay. I've had my hands on both for a bit. I used the Rift S with my PC. Whoa, you had a chance to sample the Rift S? Hmm. Wow. Jeez, if you had a chance to sample both of them, yeah, I would think that if you want to have VR on the go with the Quest. I think if you want to wasn't for long, but it was a long enough experience. Where did you experience it at? You'd rather not say, huh? That much of a secret that you can't say, huh? Um, well, I would probably say that assuming that you did test them both, you would probably have a better idea than I would as to which headset you should use, you should get, because I haven't had a chance to experience either of them. So I'm definitely not a person to ask as far as which headset you should go with. because I have no idea how either of them are going to perform, and I don't have an inside track on how to test them. From what I'm seeing, unless you happen to be in the right place at the right time, it seems like only the huge YouTubers have had a chance to experience it. In any case, so when these demos go live, I'm definitely going to test both headsets. Starting with the Rift S, the one thing I plan on testing with both of those headsets is what happens when I reach behind my head or when I reach behind my back. I definitely plan to test that to see if I lose tracking or not. Because I'm just like, I guess I'm still skeptical with an inside out tracking method without any sensors or base stations on the outside. I'm still skeptical that you're going to have superior tracking. So you said you've done that with the Quest. The other thing, and then I think that the Rift S is going to have better tracking than the Quest, based on the position of the cameras. It looks like the Quest has 4 cameras in the front on each corner of the headset, whereas the Rift S has 2 cameras in the front, 1 camera on each side, and 1 camera on top. So I'm led to believe that the Rift S is going to have better tracking than the Quest, but it still appears that, like, I'm still concerned as to what will happen when you put your hands behind your back or behind your head. And I plan to test that once these demos goes live. Now, you said you can hold your hand in back of you quickly, but if you hold it there for a few seconds, it might not register. See, that is the big concern of mine. And as far as the Quest, I plan to test that from the inside and from the outside. And what I mean by that is when I plan to test it from the inside, I'm talking about going to Best Buy and physically testing the Quest. And when I say that I plan on testing it from the outside, what I mean by that is assuming you can play the Quest online, like Gamertag VR pre-ordered an Oculus Quest. Once he gets his Quest, I plan to hook up with him on a game that we can play online together. Say a game like maybe Creed. I plan to hook up with him and maybe play Creed with him. And from the outside, I want to see if his character looks skittish, if it's jumping around, if it looks skittish, how much lag it might have, that kind of stuff. I definitely plan on taking a look at that as well. Because as far as the Oculus Quest goes, I don't plan on getting it for myself, but it may be a viable option for my son if he wants to jump into VR right away, because I'm pretty sure that my son probably wants a gaming PC, because when he comes over here to stay with me over the weekend, he barely touches his Xbox One X, because he'd rather play on like Gears of War 4. He'd rather play it on the PC, and get the native 4K at 60 frames versus the 30 frames on the Xbox One X. So, and as far as VR goes, I don't know, I guess he's probably moody about it. He doesn't always jump up and play it on his own, but if he sees me playing it, then he'll like start to get the urge a little bit and play it a little bit. So if he decides, but he did ask me, he said when those demos go live at Best Buy, he wants to know if I'll take him there so he can try them. So there's a slight possibility my son might have his eye on the Oculus Quest once I explain to him that you would get PC quality VR experience without the PC and without the cords. So a Oculus Quest for my son is not out of the realm of possibility. and that's one of the reasons why I definitely want to put the Oculus Quest through its paces. But as far as myself goes, you know, I'm still feeling like and I definitely want to get another headset. I said that on numerous occasions, and I'm still leaning towards going the route of you said when you checked the Quest out, I was expecting Oculus Go quality, but I was surprised that it was much better. Well, it's got from what they're saying, it's got a resolution of 1600 per eye. And I think that's another reason why the Valve Index should have a higher resolution for the money that you're paying. You know, you're getting 1600 resolution out of the Valve Index, and you're getting that same 1600 resolution out of the Oculus Quest for $600 cheaper. And I don't know, that the 72 72 hertz refresh rate on the Quest versus the 120 on the Valve. I don't know how much of a difference I don't know if you'll be able to see an instant difference on that. I don't know. Chances are I probably won't get a chance to check out a Valve Index. I'm not going to drop the $1,000 for it, and I don't know anybody that's planning to get one that's within reach of me. Same price as Rift, but doesn't need that expensive PC, as they say. Yeah. So, but it's funny that the Oculus Quest has a higher resolution than the Rift S. The Quest has a 1600 resolution, whereas the Rift S has 1440, which I can't say that seems a little bit backwards because, naturally Facebook is going to be promoting the Quest the most. And I think since you're probably trying to appeal to the mainstream audience, I'd imagine clarity is probably going to be huge with them, because if somebody buys an Oculus Quest, 1K for VR, I think somebody who might go off and buy an Oculus Quest, if they put that headset on and they see something that looks like Drive Club VR, this all blurry, and as Anthony says from VR 365, looks like something where they smeared Vaseline all over the background and shit. If somebody buys an Oculus Quest and see that, they're probably going to take that headset off and take it right back to Best Buy and get their money back. So definitely clarity, it has to be, at the forefront for the Quest. So I can't knock Facebook and Oculus for giving the Quest a higher resolution than the Rift S, but damn, I do wish the Rift S had that 1600 resolution. As far as resolution goes, either one of them would be an upgrade for me in that aspect. But the tracking is the big issue with me. I will say this though. If I find out that the Rift S has the inside out tracking, the 5 cameras, and it still allows you to use it with the current Oculus Rift sensors, if they allow you to do that, then the Rift S might be a slam dunk for me, because I think you would have the best tracking of any headset out there. If you have a headset with 5 cameras on it, along with the 3 sensors that I have, if you could do that, shit, I mean, you could dig a hole in the floor and go 5 feet underground and still have good tracking. So I don't know. I mean, if memory serves me right, the Vive has a little bit of has slightly better visuals um, than the Rift, but it's not game changing. But nonetheless, it's still a little bit better. And I don't know, the way things are right now, I don't have a problem dropping 250 bucks to get one off of eBay. My only issue was the with the Vive is having to deal with those controllers, because I don't really care for those controllers. If it came down to it and it was my only option, I would get by with them. But as of right now, I think the Rift Touch controllers, a lot of people generally agree that that's the best controllers out there. You said, and I heard they were experimenting with hooking Oculus Quest up to a PC, but of course, there's a huge doubt that that will happen. That was another thing that I was actually wondering about, if you would have that option that to either go, to go standalone or to connect it to a PC. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's what you're going to be able to do with the Vive Cosmos. I don't know when it's coming, and I really haven't done that much research on the Vive Cosmos, but I definitely plan to do that research. But I think when I watched I think whatever information I had got on it was like a quick glance over, and from the little tidbits that I gathered in, that's what it sounded like. It sounded like it was a VR headset that was going to give you an option to go, be a standalone headset like the Quest, or plug it into a PC. So support gaming, refresh rate, and tracking are my biggest concerns in VR. So again, everything has a trade-off with these headsets that are coming out. Like I said, let's start with the Quest. You got a refresh rate of 72 hertz. And the standard right now is pretty much 90 hertz. And the standard Rift has a refresh rate of 90. Then you got the Rift S. You got a refresh rate of 80. And then again, I'm skeptical about this inside out tracking, and I'm concerned that, because all the cameras are on the headset, and all the tracking methods are on the headset, and there's nothing on the outside. There's no sensors, no bases, or anything like that. So I'm still concerned that when you put your hands behind your back or behind your head, you're going to lose tracking. So there's a concern there. Says Puppy, next thing you know, people are walking around in public with headsets on their head. That's a very well possibility. Because of the Oculus Quest is coming up, Anthony of VR365 thinks it's only a matter of time before somebody gets killed from doing something stupid, by playing that shit outside, and then next thing you know, they find themselves out in the street playing something and get hit by a car. But back to you support gaming. Again, then also, this is I'm regurgitating some of the things that I said, about my concerns about some of these VR headsets. You got the Samsung Odyssey, which has a 1600 resolution, but again, this is a headset that uses the inside out tracking, and it only has 2 cameras. And I've seen videos where it's been proven that if you put your hands behind your back for more than a couple of seconds, you're going to lose tracking. So that's a concern there. Another one that's coming up is the HP Reverb. And again, another headset. It's a mixed reality headset. Both the HP Reverb and the Samsung Odyssey are both mixed reality headsets. They're both going to be using that inside out tracking. I think the Reverb is going to have a resolution of 2160 per eye. So it's definitely going to be razor sharp. But again, tracking is going to be the concern with that inside out. I'm concerned about that. You have the Pimax. Those are super expensive. And then I've heard a couple of stories about those things breaking. I guess a couple of YouTubers that have a Pimax headset said that their headsets broke twice. So that's out of the question. I'm not paying an arm and a leg for one of those headsets that's destined to break. Um, and I don't know what the tracking method is of the Pimax because I haven't dug that deep into it, because I'm the type of person that how much research I do on something depends on how realistic of a possibility that I would buy it. And then we have the Valve Index, which I think is going to have superior tracking. It looks like the headset has got a couple of cameras in the front, and then it uses base stations the way the HTC Vive does. So I think you're going to have superior tracking with that. And I think those Valve knuckle controllers, I think those are going to be awesome. I would love to try those, but I think that $1,000 price tag is a little too rich for me. You know, it's going to have a resolution of 1600, which you know, with the Oculus Quest being $600 cheaper with the same resolution, it makes me feel like the Valve Index should have a higher resolution than 1600 for that $1,000 that you're paying for the whole setup. Piper, you says, I'm thinking on how the Oculus Quest would hook up with games like VR chat. Everyone doubted it would happen, but nope, they did it. While tracking with the tracking that it has, I'm not sure how it would work. Again, I'm led to believe that, you know, with the Oculus Quest, as long as you keep your hands in front of you, tracking won't be a problem. But if games like Space Junkies or Blade and Sorcery are available on the Oculus Quest, those games require you to reach behind your shoulders to pull out some of the weapons. And I'm wondering what would happen if you reach too far behind your head, behind, you know, the average person can't put their hands behind their shoulders. I know I can't. But it's still a concern. So I can't say that it will or won't work. That's why I can't wait to get out there and try it myself. And then you know, and then again, you know, support gaming. Talking about the Valve Index, I think that's going to give you superior tracking. But again, for that $1,000 price tag, I think you should get a higher resolution out of that headset. You're definitely going to get a great refresh rate, though. You know, with 120 hertz and an experimental 140 hertz refresh rate, you're definitely going to get a great refresh rate. So I don't think motion sickness is going to be an issue with that headset at 120 hertz. I'm led to believe it's going to run buttery smooth. And if you're a person that's trying VR for the first time, I would be led to believe that with the Valve Index, once you get your VR legs under you, every game is just going to be buttery smooth, and you won't have to deal with motion sickness once you get your VR legs under you. But again, you know, that $1,000 price tag is a little bit rich. And you said I've tried those. You can reach your hands. What's up, Fatal? That I've tried those. You can reach behind your head quickly, but if you keep your hand there for a few seconds, it doesn't work. And again, you know, and like today, I played Space Junkies with my son. We took turns playing Space Junkies, and I made sure I wanted to explain to him how it works, because a couple of the critical weapons you have to reach behind your head, behind your shoulder to grab them. With your left hand, you reach behind your shoulder to pull out the shield, and then like if you choose to use it, you know, with the right hand, you reach behind your shoulders to pull out an energy sword. Fuzzy Dragon, 120 hertz is going to need a beast of a GPU in most any game that has, you know, had at that resolution. Yeah. You know, I wonder how games are going to look on the You got to go, puppy. Okay, thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. Yep. Hopefully we'll see you again. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. You said 120 hertz is easy. Almost any modern GPU can do it. You know, but as far as the Valve Index goes, I'm wondering how games are going to look and how are they going to run if you have a PC that just meets the minimum requirements. Because I think, I don't have on the PlayStation VR or the Oculus, I don't think I have any games that run skittish, where I'm like, okay, frame rates obviously is an issue here. I don't have any games on either of those platforms that I think run skittish to the point where I'm like, nah, I can't deal with this. Maybe some of the very first games. Let me see here. Fatal, you said a 4th gen i5 and a GTX 970 would play almost anything at 1080p. Okay. That is what is up. Fatal Plus, in addition to deciding whether I'm going to go on eBay and get a used HTC Vive, I'm also looking at getting an Elgato HD60, so I can use it on the PC and the PS4. $180 is more than I want to spend. So I don't know. I might wait till it goes on sale or something. Because it won't be the end of the world if I don't get one. So yeah, I'm definitely anticipating the when these headsets go live for demonstration at Best Buy, because like I said, I'll still go there and test them, and it won't be, because if they got Beat Saber or something like that, if that's one of the demo games they got there, that's not going to be a good game to try to test the tracking, because that's going to be a game where you're going to need to keep your hands in front of you at all times. But still, whatever game I test out at Best Buy on both of those headsets, I'm still going to put my hands behind my back. I'm still going to put my hands behind my head for an extended period of time and see if a message comes up letting me know that they lost tracking. So I guess I didn't realize how glorious let's see here. Fuzzy Dragon, it says Survivor was pointing out that his Pimax at that resolution has trouble at 60 frames per second on a 2080 Ti, so it's going to be a thing to test. Ooh. So it sounds like with that Pimax 4, 5, 8K, whichever headset you have, it sounds like you're going to need a supercomputer to be able to run that thing at 60 frames per second at those resolutions. But, I thought about getting the 5K Pimax next year, but now that I've heard a couple of stories about those things breaking, no, I'm not going to get one. And see, if I decide to get the HTC Vive through eBay, that's one thing. If I can catch it for $200, I think it's worth the risk versus paying $500 for a new one. Um, but if I should decide to go buy a new headset, I will get it through Best Buy, so I can put a warranty on it. So if something goes wrong with it, I don't have to go through the manufacturer or fuck with anybody else. I can take it directly to Best Buy, and they'll give me another. They'll give me my money back, or let me swap it out for another one. But whatever Best Buy, whatever their course of action they take, they're gonna do it with no question. It won't put you through any unnecessary bullshit. I don't want to buy something um, through Amazon or Newegg or something like that, and the shit break down, and then I got to call a 1-800 number and go through a bunch of props and be put on hold and all kinds of other bullshit. I don't want to deal with that. I think with electronics, I think warranties are paramount. I think you gotta have them. You just don't know when the shit's gonna break down. You said the cool thing about Best Buy is they price match Amazon. Yeah, that's true too. Shit, Fatal. Do you have a headset? Do you have Oculus Survive or HTC Vive? You have either of those? Damn, it's already 10:30, so I'm gonna have to wrap this up here pretty soon, so I can jump on Oculus and play something. Hold on a second, folks. You're setting up an Oculus headset right now. Do you? Did you just buy it, or was it something that you had for a while and it was in the closet, and you just now pulling it out? God, I hate that delay with YouTube. So like me asking Fatal this question, it's probably going to take 7 seconds for the question to reach him, and then it's a headset I'm kind of borrowing at this moment. Okay, hold on to that thought for a second. Fatal, let me read Fuzzy's comment. I'm still kind of iffy on paying too much pre-gen 2 for pre-gen 2 for a new headset. So Odyssey plus Rift S or Quest, I'm thinking are more reasonable. I haven't tried any of them, Fuzzy. But for the situation that I'm in, if I was going to get one of those 3 headsets, I would go with the Rift S. I think that Thomas Hand, what's up? I think out of those 3 headsets, because all 3 of those headsets are going to use the inside out tracking. And it's already been proven with Odyssey that if you put your hands behind your back for more than a couple of seconds, you're going to lose tracking. Myself, I think that's probably going to happen with all of them because the cameras are on the headset and there's no outside method of tracking. But I think out of the 3 of those headsets, I think the Rift S is going to have the best tracking because of the position of the cameras. 2 in the front, 1 on each side, and 1 on top. One on top of the headset. But I think I would feel a little more at ease about this inside out tracking when they put another camera at the back of the headset. I don't see, these cameras these days are so small that you can put them just about anywhere. And I would like to think that you could put one of those cameras at the back of one of those headsets. And I think you could do it without compromising the comfort. So coming back to you, Fatal, you said you're kind of borrowing an Oculus headset at the moment. This headset that you're borrowing, does it have 2 sensors or 3? Yeah, right there, Fuzzy Dragon. You said Rift S looks the most user friendly Resi option. Good game library in place, solid price and specs. Exactly. That the two sensors. Okay. You'd have superior tracking with a third sensor, but hey. So what is the purpose of borrowing this headset, Fatal? I mean, have you experienced VR before, or is this something where a friend's letting you borrow it so you can possibly consider, buying a headset or something? Me myself, VR is like crack to me. I can't get enough of it. I mean, we've been friends long enough, and you've seen enough of my videos to know that I play mostly VR games now. I barely touch flat screen games anymore. You said you experienced it before, but I'm using it so I can play Beat Saber. Uh, Thomas Hand, you're not buying any headsets till I see a PSVR 2. Truth of the matter, I think by the time the PSVR 2 hits, the inside out tracking that it's going to use won't be anything new in terms of technological advances. It sounded good when we first heard of it, but we're already at that stage now. With the Rift S, the Quest, the Odyssey, the HP Reverb, all those have inside out tracking. I think to me that the only technology that's going to be on the PSVR 2 is going to be eye tracking. And I've already expressed concern about that, knowing how it works. It follows your eyes and focuses the resolution on where you're looking. So wherever you're looking, that's where you're going to get the best resolution. And everything else in the background, the resolution is going to be lowered since that's not what you're looking at. So I'm wondering, is this thing going to be able to keep up with your eyes, and no matter where you look, you're going to see a crystal clear picture? Or is this a situation where you look somewhere and it takes this thing a half a second to catch up with your eyes, and it's going to be blurry for a split second until it comes into focus? If that's what's going to happen with this shit, I don't want any parts of that eye tracking. And not only that, when the PSVR 2 headset comes along, it's definitely not going to have the best resolution, because it's rumored, as of right now, it's rumored that it's going to be 1440. The resolution. So, I mean, with these new headsets that's coming out right now, it's like 1440 is the minimum. Between the Rift S, the Samsung Odyssey, and the Quest, the Rift S has the lowest resolution at 1440. Okay, at least you good with first gen PSVR for now. Okay, cool. I get that. And then, like, I want to come back to Fatal Charade, who's saying that he's experienced VR before, but he's using it so he can play Beat Saber. I think you're absolutely going to love Beat Saber. But that brings me to the question that when you get a hold of your friends, when you get hold of your friend's Oculus, are you going to be playing Beat Saber under his account, or if you create your own account, you're probably gonna have to go buy the game? Fuzzy Dragon, you said PSVR. If PSVR gets real controllers and a real tracking solution, it will really start to blow up. But we're not going to see that, in my opinion, until next generation. Now the controllers, I do think that's because of some of these. Okay, you said you've created your own account. You already got the game off G2A. Okay, cool. Hey, make sure you stream it too. Make sure you stream it, Fatal, when you get it, because I definitely want to see this. Thomas Hand, you said I don't buy these all-in-one headsets just now. Okay, you said you're setting it up for live streaming right now as well? Okay, so is it possible you're going to try to stream something live tonight, or is that going to be tomorrow or something like that? I will also tell you, Fatal Sharad, a couple of things about Beat Saber. Number one, the game is deceptively addictive. Um, it's one of those games where once you start to get the hang of it, and you move up, like you start out as easy, and then moderate and hard and stuff like that. As you get better, you're gonna want more of a challenge. So the game is addictive in that sense, and then you'll burn a shitload of calories off that game, and that's just a cold hard fact. You play that game for about an hour, shit, you might be pouring in sweat after about an hour. Top Dog, it says, sounds to me like you should just bite the bullet and buy a Vive Pro because you will never be satisfied what the other headsets offer. Yeah, well, see, Top Dog, I checked Best Buy and the Vive Pro. The whole setup is $1,400, which is ridiculous. I'll buy the I'll buy the Valve Index before I buy the Vive Pro, especially with those Valve knuckle controllers coming out, because I do think it's possible that the Valve knuckles could knock the Rift Touch controllers off the mountain as the best controllers out there. Right now, everybody believes that the Rift Touch controllers are the best controllers out there, which I agree. But the Valve knuckles could knock them off the top. It's very well possible. And then I also seen those Pimax controllers. Those I think they're called the swords. Those look ergonomically. Those don't look bad either. So I think those are going to be good controllers too. But $1,400 for the Vive Pro, that's nuts. There ain't no way I'm paying that much money. I mean, the only way, if I were to go with the Valve Pro, I don't even know what the controllers cost. I don't even, just a minute. Let me go to Best Buy. Hold on a second, y'all. Because I want to see what kind of controllers the Vive Pro comes with. Fuck no, hell no. You said the lower end headsets look like poor value in the long run. Right now, what I'm looking at, price, tracking. Right now, getting a standard Vive off of eBay might be my best bet, because again, I can catch one of those for about $200. I think the visuals are going to be a little bit cleaner than the Rift that I have, but it's going to be like only a micro thin slice thinner. But I still do want to add another headset, and again, every one of these headsets has a trade off. And in the Vive Pro, I'm looking at this shit, and it still uses the same ugly ass controllers that the standard Vive uses. Ain't no way I'm paying $1,400 for that. Hell no, I would go with the Let me see what the resolution is on the Vive Pro. Hold on. Let me see here. As far as you need a CPU, you need a i5 4590 or AMD FX 8350 or better. 4 gigs of RAM or more. Specs. 110 degrees field of view. Let me see. High resolution display, 2880 by 1600. Hell no. Hell no. Thomas Hand, you said I just watched you on Mafia 3. Lincoln bought the game to back you up. Hey, there you go. Hell no. The Vive Pro 1600 resolution for $1,400, and you still getting those same ugly ass controllers. When you can get the Valve Index, you get that same 1600 resolution, and then you get those new Valve Knuckle controllers, which I think is going to be revolutionary. And I think they're going to be the next big thing in controllers for $400 cheaper. That's nuts. Ain't no way I would buy a Vive Pro. That thing is grossly overpriced. But hell, even the Valve Index, I don't want to drop $1,000 for it. And seeing the thing that makes all this shit with these headsets such a hard decision is that you cannot mix and match these headsets. Like, for instance, I couldn't buy the Valve Index headset and then try to use it with my Oculus controllers and the Oculus sensors. It won't. Oculus ain't playing that shit. They ain't gonna let you, mix somebody else's headsets in with their controllers and their sensors. Thomas Hands, you said these headsets look like a money grab. You said also the Vive Pro has the old Vive lenses with God rays, and the Rift S has the clearest lens on the market. You see, and because of that right there, Fuzzy Dragon, based on these headsets that's coming out, if you don't have any of these headsets and you're looking to buy one of these headsets that's coming out this year, I think the Rift S might be the best bang for the buck. And it's affordable. The only thing, now you're giving up a little bit of refresh rate with an 80 hertz refresh rate versus the 90 on the standard Rift. I understand with these lenses that the Rift S uses, it's not the blacks aren't going to be as deep. And then my biggest concern again is the tracking with the inside out tracking. I'm concerned what's going to happen when you put your hands behind your back. You said they even charge for the link cable to use with NVIDIA graphics cards. Are you talking about like with wireless headsets to use a cord to plug into the graphics cards or something? That's another thing that I'm wondering. Some people were saying that, like Top Dog, that you're not going to see a big difference between 80 hertz and 90 hertz. You said a new USB link. I mean, are you saying, Thomas Hand, that some of these new headsets are going to use that new USB link? Because if that's the case, I think that would be pretty cool if you can use that. You use a USB link and in the HDMI port on your graphics card is free. Then that would be pretty cool, because the way things are sitting right now, with this Rift that I use, at the end of the Rift cord, you got an HDMI cord along with a USB 3 cord. And so what happens is I plug the HDMI cord into the graphics card, the USB 3 into a USB 3 port, and now I have to use a display to HDMI adapter and be able to see what I'm doing on the TV. And when I do that, the sound is coming through the Oculus headset. And then not only that, your refresh rate is definitely compromised. I'll give you an example. So when I plug my, I've got my PC plugged into my TV, and I got the refresh rate set at 60 hertz. So when we bench test God of War, native 4K, we're getting 60 frames per second out of it. When I unplugged the HDMI cord and plugged it into that display, the HDMI adapter cable, plugged it back into the PC and did another benchmark on Gears of War 4, I think we were only getting like 48 frames per second when we did it that way. So if I were to get a new headset that uses a USB link cable and I can plug it directly into that USB port on the graphics card, and I don't need the USB, the HDMI port anymore, then that would be cool, because that would put me in a position where I can keep the headset plugged up at all times. And whenever my son comes over, we got to move all these cords around and shit like that whenever he wants to play Gears of War. But then once he wants to switch back to the Oculus, then we got to move these cords around again. So that would eliminate that. So that would be cool. And if the link cable is reasonably priced, I wouldn't have a problem paying it. Even the current setup right now, for me, is not a big deal using that, the way I got it set up right now. But my son goes back and forth every 3 seconds. He wants to play Gears of War 1 second, then he wants to play the Oculus the next second, then back to Gears of War on the PC. Fuzzy Dragon, you said a Rift S has a slightly lower resolution than the Vive Pro, but makes up for it in clear lenses, and the RGB stripe setup like on PSVR makes the screen door effect impossible to see. Yeah, which the Oculus, I think it does have, God rays and screen door effect, which I'm actually, not terribly familiar with screen door effect. What I do know is that some games, there's glare on the Oculus Rift. I will admit that there is glare on it, especially games like when I play PokerStars VR and it's going through the loading screen. That glare shining into the lens is like like the sun coming through the clouds. So again, Fuzzy Dragon, you take me back to this predicament again, that out of these headsets that's coming out, the Rift S is, probably going to give you the best deal for your money, and it's probably going to be the most user friendly. But again, I'm still skeptical of this inside out tracking. Now, again, when the Rift S comes out, if it turns out that you could use the inside out tracking as well as use those sensors from the standard Rift S, if they allow you to do that, then that's a slam dunk. I'll get the Rift S, because you will definitely have superior tracking if you can make use of the sensors from the outside and still use the 5 cameras on the Rift S headset. Then shit, you would have tracking better than anything out there, better than that, better than the Valve Index or whoever else want to talk shit about their tracking. You would definitely have superior tracking if they allowed that to happen. You would have the best tracking in VR, hands down. So that's another reason why I need as much information as possible about the Rift S. Like the drop in the a screen door effect is a bunch of black dots that you see when you try to read stuff. Okay. Well, my eyes, I'm 52 years old. I turned 52 yesterday, and my eyes aren't laser sharp like they were when I was like 25 years old. So I haven't seen anything like that, noticeably where you talk about the, black dots. But like those God rays, fuck yeah, I definitely see those on the, on the Rift. I will admit that on the PSVR, I don't think I really don't see that on the PSVR. I really don't see God rays. So as far as the drop, as far as the drop of going from 90 hertz to 80 hertz, I can't say that I'm really concerned about that because I haven't really, in my opinion, experienced that. Right there, Fuzzy Dragon. You said if you could do it both, I would buy it blindfolded. You know what? I'll put it to you this way, Fuzzy Dragon. If Oculus allows you to do something like that, where you could use the Rift S and still use those sensors from the standard Rift, if Oculus lets you do that, then in my opinion, the Vive Index is dead. They will not sell any of those things. I think the Valve Index will be dead. The only thing that might be attractive about the Type-C cables will be the future for VR. I agree with that. But again, getting back to that, if Oculus allows you to do that, the Valve Index is dead. The only thing that might make the Valve Index attractive is the Valve Knuckle controllers, which I guess the Valve Knuckle controllers will work with the standard HTC Vive. You said God rays piss you off more than anything, huh? Damn, it's already 11 o'clock. Well, I've been like getting to bed. I normally try to get in bed by 11 or 11:30, but VR is such a drug to me that I almost can't go to bed without playing it at least once before I go to bed. So I'm going to like win, lose, or draw. I'm going to shut this. It's 11 o'clock right here Eastern time. Win, lose, or draw. I'm going to shut this shit down at 11:30 so I can jump on something before I go to bed. The way I'm feeling right now, I might play some more Space Junkies and stream it again. Both my son and I played Space Junkies earlier, and my son said he said it was fun. He hasn't gotten to the point where where he likes it the way I do yet, but he had a little bit of fun with it. And again, with Space Junkies, that is a fun game, but I think Ubisoft caused an unnecessary problem. Hey, unless you take, I'm still gonna be here for another half hour, Thomas Hand. I'll still stick around for a half an hour till 11:30, but that's the cutoff right there. I got to jump off and get some gaming in before I go to bed. Players United, EA proves online is not all that that the EA servers went down at around 5:30 today. Oh, you said EA proves that online is not all that. The EA servers went down around 5:30 today. Well, fuck them. I don't play none of this shit anyway. At this moment, the only game that I will play from EA is Battlefield, and I haven't played that in months. Now, if you make Battlefield in VR, that's a different story right there. Same thing with garbage ass Call of Duty. If they made that game in VR, that's a different story. But damn, I know I was in the middle of saying something about Space Junkies. Oh, I was talking about the what's my preferred VR crack? Right now it isn't any particular game right now, Fuzzy Dragon. I mean, the whole platform in general is crack. As in, I gotta play something at least once every day. And so the way I do it is, you know, right now, as far as my workout regimen goes, I haven't been to the gym in over 2 months, but I still do push-ups here at home. So what I'll do is, like on days like maybe Monday, Wednesday, and Thursdays or something like that, I'll do like a bunch of push-ups and get to the point of failure. And then once I get done doing my push-ups, I'll jump on VR and play Beat Saber or play Creed to get my cardio in. Ghostly Rider, what's up? So so even if I'm not necessarily playing nothing, I still gotta play VR. I still gotta, get some VR time in to get my cardio in. Whether I'm playing, like I said, whether I'm playing Creed or Beat Saber, hell, even Blade and Sorcery is a little bit of a workout because you still slashing weapons at the enemy. You know, Gamertag VR said I should try a Box VR. It's like Beat Saber. And he was saying that the squatting you have to do to avoid the walls that are coming at you. He said had his legs hurting because of how much he had to squat. So that's something that I'll take a look at. Ghostly Rider, you can't believe Batman died in the Avengers. What planet are you on? I mean, if you're gonna come in with spoilers, you should at least make sure you got it right. So, getting back to Fuzzy Dragon asking me what's my preferred crack, I probably say the last game that I played in VR where I couldn't get enough of it was probably when Firewall first came out. When that game when that game unlocked at midnight, because I pre-ordered it, and I think I did like a 3-hour stream leading up to the midnight unlock of that game. And then once the game unlocked at midnight, I did another like 3.5-hour stream of the game. And I only got an hour sleep before I had to go to work. And in the beginning, Firewall was that game that I couldn't get enough of it until the drifting with the gun controller started getting on my nerves. But as of right now, there's no one game where I'm like, man, I got to play this every single day. All I can tell you is that I have to play some kind of VR every night. I gotta close, well, in the way. But I will tell you this, Fuzzy Dragon. Here's another one of my routines. Whether I'm playing Creed, Beat Saber, Blade and Sorcery, one of the first-person shooter games, whether it's Contractors, Zero Caliber, Firewall, whatever I'm playing, I try to wrap my night up playing Poker Stars VR because I grab my folding chair and put it in the middle of my playing area because it's got a cup holder on it. So I'll get an ice cold glass of ginger ale and guava juice, and I'll put it in that cup holder with a straw in it. That way I can drink it without having to take the headset off. And so, hey, it's really relaxing sitting at the poker table, having good conversation with people, playing cards, trying to win some money, and having a nice cold drink. So that's very relaxing. It's very interactive, very immersive, and it's usually how I close my nights. You said, I wear my arm out on an Orbis VR just casting spells. You have to draw precise runes as fast as humanly possible per spell you're casting. My casting arm is going to be huge after 1 week. Like the way you have to cast the spells on this Orbis VR you're talking about, is that something like similar to how Doctor Strange moves his hands when he's getting ready to make those portals and other magic he does? In Players United, you say virtual drinking. Yeah. Hey, you can drink at the poker table because you can go into the menus and get items and like buy beer and shit like that. and and drinking virtual reality, and then people smash those beer bottles on the middle of the poker table. Oh, I'm sorry, Thomas Han. You said, do you think Sony has the upper hand with VR games, Lincoln? No, I do not. Right now, um, I think the must-have games that PlayStation VR has that you can't get anywhere else, I think it's Firewall, Astrobot, Farpoint. I think that might be it. But I think the one thing that the PlayStation VR is sorely lacking is multiplayer games. Now, if you want to play multiplayer games in VR, go to Steam because they got a shitload of VR multiplayer games on Steam. The only thing, like when you buy one of those multiplayer VR games off of Steam, the one thing you have to be leery about is active users, like how many people are playing. Now, like maybe a game like Contractors, I don't know how big the active user base is, but I've never had a problem finding a game. And then and I think Steam has a fair review system. Said pretty close to how Harry Potter casts, so your arm is moving like a blur. And this is Orbis VR. I might take a look at that. If it's something that costs $40, then I might try to go to G2A and see if I can find it cheaper that way. And if I can't find it cheaper at G2A, then this maybe is something where I might reach out to the developer and ask them if I can get a review key or something. Yeah, to get back to the Steam thing, Thomas Hand. Again, I bought raw data a couple of days ago, and it costs $40 on both Steam and the PlayStation VR. But I think the PlayStation VR version says single player. So I'm not even sure. It might have co-op, but I don't think it has player versus player. Whereas the Steam version of raw data does have player versus player, but that shit is non-existent because I tried to play it yesterday. I tried to look for a match, and I was in there. I waited about 20 minutes, and nobody showed up. So the player versus player is non-existent. And then not only that, the trailer for raw data is deceptive. They make you think that it's really it makes you think that the game has a really intense campaign where you're navigating your way through a corporate building to try to get to a central computer to extract some data. When the fact of the matter is, this game is a fucking wave shooter. So the trailer was very deceptive. So it's like I played the campaign, and the campaign is no different than the tutorial. You're just standing in one spot shooting at the robots that's coming at you. And then there's a lot of useless dialogue in the game, a lot of corny ass one-liners in the game. And then like once you clear out a wave of robots and it tells you to like pull this device out of the computer interface, I was led to believe that, okay, maybe I'm going to move to a different part of the computer, to the different part of the building. It led me to believe that, okay, maybe I can move around in this building, whether it's by way of teleport or smooth locomotion. But no, every time it tells you to remove that device, you pull that device out, and then the next wave of robots are coming at you, and you stand in the same place. You're not moving around. And so that game was very deceptive, and I think that was really fucked up with Servios to make the game look like it was something that had a very intense campaign in it. You said, I think that's why I'm okay waiting a while. I think you want to know what as far as high quality AAA type VR games. I think your best chance of getting those is going to be from Sony next generation or even this generation, like at the end of this month with Blood and Truth, and then whenever they released release Iron Man VR, which I understand. People were saying that it was going to be a wave shooter, but I'm hearing that it's going to be a full blown campaign with a story and shit like that, and it's not just going to be just flying around in the air shooting. It's going to be a story. So with that being said, I'm looking forward to Iron Man. I think even though Blood and Truth is supposed to be like a point and click, move from spot to spot, you're still going to be able to shoot as you're moving from point to point. So I do like that aspect of it. So it looks like it's got a great story. It looks like it's going to have some action in it. The way that plane blew up over your head, man, I can only imagine what that's going to look like in VR. I can't wait to see that. So I'm definitely looking forward to Blood and Truth, and I think that could be the start of Sony bringing you bigger and better experiences. So I think as far as getting AAA type games, I think Sony and Oculus are going to be, I think they're going to be your best bet of getting those type of games. Because I will admit, on Steam, there is a lot of rinky-dink looking indie games on there, and that's all the more reason why you have to read the reviews before you jump up and buy something. But Steam does have a reasonable refund policy. So if you play something for like a half an hour and you decide you don't like it, if you file for a refund within a reasonable amount of time, more than likely you'll get it. So yes, in fact, I hate to admit this. Days Gone, from what I played of it, is a great game, and I wanted to have this game finished by the time Blood and Truth comes out, but I don't think it's going to happen because I just played way too much VR to come back to this shit. I also spent $60 on MLB The Show, and I've only played it twice. The 2 times that I streamed the game online, the only time I played it. And that's all thanks to VR. I play way too much VR to come back to those games, to put proper time into those games. But one thing about video games, there's a shitload of them all over the place. But if you really devote yourself to try to finish a game, it's going to take up a lot of your time. Fuzzy Dragon, you said Orbis is the VR MMO. It's $40, but community is huge, and there are no monthly subscription fees. Damn. You said check it out in the Orbis Reborn. You said if you're interested in it, check out the Orbis Reborn trailer. Might not be for everybody, but as is, it's over 100 hours of content. Good Lord. See, man, I think with these VR games, I think there's a fine line between too much and not enough. And I think a game like Lone Echo, I didn't want to drop that $40 for it, but I haven't finished that game either. I think I got about 65% through the game, and unfortunately I got stuck, so I cheated and went to watched the YouTube video on how to get out of that jam, and I ended up watching the rest of the damn story. And then to make it even more fucked up, when my CyberPower PC took a dump and I bought the Alienware, all my progress was lost, and I had to start all over again. I don't want to start the story over again. But nonetheless, I think Lone Echo is like 8 to 10 hours playtime or something like that, which I think is perfect. Not too long, not too short. Now, now who the fuck gonna play Skyrim VR, the entire game in VR? Now, don't get me wrong, as shady as Bethesda is, I think that is good that they brought a AAA game to VR. It's fucked up that they double dipping because they had people pay $59.99 for the game once when it came out and then hitting them again for the same $60 for the VR version of the game. So that's a little bit fucked up. So that is cool that No Man's Sky is giving people a free update. But again, with Bethesda giving everybody a AAA game in VR, I think that's cool because that's going to give you a lot of hours of playtime. Fallout 4 being in Thomas Hand, you said, is everything still running good on your PC? I put it to you this way, Thomas Hand. When I bought that first CyberPower PC, that was my very first gaming PC that I ever had. That thing took a dump, as you know. And then I bought a second. I took it back, got a replacement CyberPower PC. I figured the first one taking a dump was probably an isolated incident. So when I got the second CyberPower PC, I was leery because people were telling me the CyberPower was junk, mainly Fatal Charade. So because of that, I saved the box because I'm like, okay, you know, if this shit takes, I'm thinking to myself that, okay, whatever happened to me, if it was an isolated incident, this computer should last. But if what happened to me is problematic and it is the problem of the manufacturer, then this computer is going to break down within the same amount of time. And just like clockwork, that second CyberPower PC took a dump just like the first one did after 2 weeks, and it died in the same method. And it died on the same day. It died on a Friday, just like the first one did. So I took it back and I said, fuck that. I'm done with CyberPower. I said I want to get something different. So as you guys know, Best Buy gave me back my money for the CyberPower PC. They gave me back my money for the warranty, you know, but they prorated it and like gave me all of my money back except for like $10 because I guess that's how much of the warranty I had used based on how long I had the PC. So they gave me all my money back, and then I turned around and bought the Alienware PC. And people can say what they want about Dell taking over Alienware or whatever the case may be. But this PC has been good to me. I haven't seen this computer act buggy, you know, or janky or anything like that. I think this Alienware has been good to me. I think it's going on a month now that I had this Alienware PC, and I'm not seeing anything that indicates it might break down anytime soon. With that being said, I'm finally ready to take the safety net off and throw the box away because I kept the box this whole time just in case it takes a dump. But it seems to be running fine, and I'm getting ready to they gave me back my money as if they were waiting for me. Hey, and here's something else. I shouldn't be saying this, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Tyrell Wood, it was him, Nathy, I think Sebastian of Mixed Reality, and one more guy. I can't remember. I don't know who he was, but they were doing a four-way VR podcast. And with Tyrell Wood, I noticed in the background he had an Alienware PC. So if a tech guy like Tyrell Wood is using an Alienware PC, who knows? They might have gave him the PC. I don't know if he bought it or not because he's a big enough YouTuber that, you know, everything he got probably got handed to him. But still, to see that Alienware computer in the background, I said, okay. So with that being said, I'm ready to go ahead and throw the safety net away and go ahead and throw the box away because it's taking up room in my apartment. Fuzzy Dragon, you say you play VR on a laptop with only a 1060 GTX, and I play in a semi trucks. Damn! What do you play? Where do you play? In a semi truck, what are you playing? Were you not swinging your arms around and hitting the steering wheel or hitting the hitting the console, or hitting the dashboard or anything like that, or hitting the ceiling? What are you playing inside of a semi truck? Hey, thanks, Thomas Hand. You said facts. I made the right choice. Here's why I ended up going with Alienware, Thomas Hand. When I took that second CyberPower PC back, I was going to buy a Dell PC that, on the info on the, at Best Buy, there was a tag underneath the PC that gave the info, the specs and all that stuff. And at the bottom, I saw the one words that I wanted to see. It said Oculus Ready, which gives me the impression that this PC has been tested with the Oculus Rift at some point or another. So my thinking is that, once I found out that Dell had took over Alienware, My assumption is that if they're going to make that Dell PC Oculus ready, then they damn sure are going to make the Alienware Oculus ready. You know, and I'm not going to lie, on that on that CyberPower PC, the Oculus ran a little bit buggy. It was a little bit buggy. Shit took a long time to load, all that bullshit. When the CyberPower would go to sleep and I would move the mouse around to wake it up, it would take like 10, 15 seconds for the shit to wake up. It would take so damn long to wake up that I was like, damn, is the computer fucking up again? This Alienware, this thing can be asleep for 3 hours and I move that mouse around and it'll wake up just like that, you know, and display the screen. No bugs, no bullshit. Then this Alienware, you know, it's water cooled. I don't know, you know, as far as hardcore, you know, PC gamers, I don't know if they prefer, prefer air cooled or water cooled. Fuzzy Dragon, you say Alienware, Asus, MSI computers are all pretty solid. Hey, thanks. Said the Alienware had better specs and components. Yeah. Now, I was going to take this Alienware back and upgrade because they've got, it looks like they've got two versions. This Alienware is the Aurora R8, and it looks like they got two versions of the R8. The one that I got has a 2070, you know, RTX graphics card. It has an i5. Has a, I think it has a 9th gen i5, 9600K processor. This PC normally sells for $2,000. I got it on sale for $1,800, and then right after I got it, it went on sale again for $1,600. So I went to Best Buy and they gave me the $200 difference, no problem. Now I was going to go ahead and upgrade to the R8 that had the i7, but I think like J-Dub and a couple of other people told me that the one that I have with the i5 9600K, that you could overclock that CPU, where I guess like the i7 8700 that's in the other R8, I guess you can't overclock that PC. So, you know, like J-Dub was telling me that, you know, my PC, you can overclock it, and Fatal Sharad was telling me that, you know, based on those processors, I'm better off keeping what I got. Fuzzy Dragon, you said you have a full-size cab with bunk beds. So folded up, I had plenty of room. Yeah, that's what, you know, that's basically what Fatal Sharad was saying. He said a low-end i7 isn't better. So that's why I decided to go ahead and stay with the one I got and just go to Best Buy and get some of my money back from the thing dropping down to $1,600. So I got a $2,000 computer for $1,600 when all was said and done. But I paid $1,400 for that CyberPower piece of junk. So if somebody comes to me and said, what computer should I get? I'm not an expert in PC, so I can't tell them what they should get, but I can't tell them what they shouldn't get, and that's a CyberPower. Yeah, Thomas Hand, I think when all said and done, to be able to get that computer at $400 off, yeah, I think that was a good deal. And the $400 that I saved, that basically paid for the Oculus. You know, because I got the Oculus on sale for $350. Now, this was a fucked up move. I think this might have been a fucked up move by Oculus, but at the same time, it was a smart move. When I got my Oculus Rift for $350, I was led to believe that was going to be the sale price for a limited time. It turned out that was the permanent price, because they were trying to clear out what was left of the standard Oculus Rift because it had been discontinued. If they would have let everybody know that the Oculus Rift has been discontinued to make way for the Rift S, they might not have been able to sell the rest of the standard Rifts that they had left. So they never told anybody that, they never, to me, it seemed like they didn't make it public that they were discontinuing the standard Rift. But at the end of the day, I'm glad with that purchase. Yes, a lot of fucking wires, and shit like that, but I still feel I still feel a lot better knowing that once I bought that third sensor that I have superior tracking. And I love playing Space Junkies and pulling that shield out from behind my back and pulling that energy sword out. Because that's got a Halo feel to it. When I pull out that energy sword, like when your gun runs out of bullets on Space Junkies, the gun becomes a bomb. You can throw it at your enemy and it'll explode. And then from there, you reach behind you and pull out the energy sword unless you can float to another weapon. Now, with the energy sword, the only thing that can stop that energy sword is blocking it with your shield. But with that energy sword, if any part of their body, your enemy's body, is exposed, you can kill them with one slice and they're dead. One slice. And I think I was playing Space Junkies earlier, a few hours ago before I took my son home. And I think I got like 6 kills with that laser sword. Oh yeah, Thomas, and you enjoying it. That's all that matters. I mean, you can hear by the way I'm talking right now, man. VR is crack to me. It's crack cocaine. So let me see. It's 11:30. God, oh man, I gotta get up and go to work in the morning. I'm telling you, I cannot wait until Memorial Day comes up because I strategically use my vacation days so I can get the most out of it. So when Memorial Day comes up at the end of the month, I'm going to take that Tuesday off so I can have a 5-day weekend. So I can have a 5-day weekend of basically a mini vacation, and it only cost me 1 vacation day. So I can't wait till the end of the month. And, I already talked to my son about it. He wants to spend the entire weekend over here. So he wants to stay. I normally get him every Saturday and take him home the next day on Sunday, but he wants to stay over here Sunday night as well. So, so when Memorial Day weekend comes up, my son and I will spend the whole weekend playing video games. So, hey, I appreciate you guys. Keeping the conversation going, because I think I only would have been able to take this so far, as far as what I had to say, but you guys brought up so many great topics. It is I'm on Eastern time, Fuzzy Dragon, so it's 11:30 p.m. here. And a lot of times 11:30 is the time that I usually try to get in bed, but when 11:30 comes around, I'm like, wait a minute, I got to get some more VR in before I go to bed. So he said, let's give Thomas a hand. All right. So yeah, the way I'm feeling now, it's 11:30 here, so I'm gonna get off in a couple of minutes, and they may be short streams, but I'm leaning towards, I'm gonna play. I want to play Space Junkies. I might play that for about a half hour, 45 minutes, and stream it, and then from there, go to PokerStars VR and try to win some money, because I think I'm up to about $500,000 now on PokerStars VR, because I got that big hit last week. I think one of those nights I pulled in about $250,000, and so that's my biggest hit in one night. So and then you get like at PokerStars VR, they got that big wheel of fortune in the towards the back of the casino, and you get a free spin every 8 hours. So even if you go broke, when you spin that spin that wheel, on average, you'll get about 10,000, give or take, per spin. So if you can find one of those cheap ass tables where the buy-ins might be $100 or something like that, you might make that shit stretch. But lately, I've been feeling like a big baller, so I've been trying to find those tables with a $20,000 buy-in, because that's where I was at when I got that big hit, when I won that $250,000. And not only that, at the end of the night, when I decided to turn in, I was number 4 on the leaderboard for for $20,000 buy-in tables. But I think by the end of the week I had dropped down to about 100, rank 109. Fuzzy Dragon, I'm super curious about Space Junkie, but the name makes me think of Portland, Oregon. Thomas saying you said Big Shark. Fuzzy Dragon, I don't know if it's on sale anymore because I thought $40 for the Space Junkies was grossly overpriced. It is not worth $40. The game is a lot of fun, but it is not worth $40. With that being said, I think Ubisoft created an unnecessary problem by making that game overpriced. And then over on the PlayStation side, you have a double whammy with the game being $40, and then you have it, and then you got to use the DualShock 4 controllers, while Rift and Vive users can use their controllers, so their hands are free. Whereas on the PlayStation version, your hands are handcuffed to that. Your hands are handcuffed to the DualShock 4. So people playing Space Junkies, as I feared, on the PlayStation VR is damn near non-existent. And to make it even more fucked up, for some reason, either Sony or Ubisoft will not allow you to stream Space Junkies from the PlayStation, from the PlayStation. Now, the game was on sale. I think the sale might have ended a couple of days ago. The game was on sale for $15, which is well worth $15. It's worth every penny of that. But I think if Ubisoft would have done that right from the start, this game would have a huge community. The reason why they knocked the game down to $15 for a limited time is because the game being grossly overpriced, nobody bought the game. Therefore, the active user base was damn near non-existent. So they let the game be on sale. I guess from what I was hearing was they let the game be on sale for a couple of weeks to try to build up a community, so the people who did spend the $40 for the game will have somebody to play with. They shouldn't have done that shit from the beginning. And I played the beta. And when I played the beta, I said, okay, this game is okay. And I played the beta on both the PlayStation and the Oculus. And when I played the beta for both platforms, I said, I'm getting this game. If I was to drop the $40 for this game, I would get it on Oculus because I have the freedom to use both of my hands as I want. Whereas, being handcuffed to the DualShock 4 doesn't exactly set in well with me. But when they made the game on sale for $15, I bought it for both the PlayStation and Oculus. And playing the game with the DualShock 4, it wasn't as bad as I initially thought the first time I tried it, but I would still rather have the freedom of both of my hands. So when they do give the update for the Move support, I think that's going to level the playing field, and you make the playing field even for those just playing on the PlayStation VR. But whatever sales that might have been generated from this game being on sale, I think the sales are going to come to a screeching halt once this game goes back to $40. And then I think Ubisoft is going to end up I think they're going to end up having to relent and knock this game down to maybe 30, 25, $20, whatever. So I just think, I just think that was really fucked up. VR, I think VR is, people say that VR is in this infancy. I think we're in the toddler stage of the of VR right now. And I just did not think that was a smart move by Ubisoft, because VR is still niche, and I think VR is still infant enough that people will look for more reasons not to play VR than they will to play VR. So it won't take much to turn some of these people off and say, no, I'm not fucking with it. No, it's make me motion sick. No, this shit is blurry. No, this shit costs too much. Whatever. People look for a bunch of reasons not to play VR. And I think by Ubisoft overpricing a game that I think was pretty fun, I think that was detrimental to the game itself, and I think that was detrimental to VR as a whole. Say, yep, getting some Ultra Wings in. Thomas Hand, you said Ubisoft and Uplay is probably the reason it's not cross-playing with PR. It is cross-play, Thomas Hand. Space Junkies is cross-play. And what I'm saying is that being that I played it on both the PlayStation and Oculus, as far as performance goes, there's no difference. People on PC are not going to have an advantage on this game in terms of their PC got this much power or they're using this headset or something like that. No, they're not going to have an advantage. The area where PC players have an advantage over PSVR is the controllers, because they can use both of their controllers to move their hands around any way they want. Whereas people on the PlayStation VR are handcuffed to the DualShock 4 controllers. So they did make good use of the, as far as the control mapping goes, they did make good use of the DualShock 4, but when they give move support, I think it's going to be a lot better for people playing the game on the PlayStation, and the playing field is going to be level. You know what? And before I get ready to go here, let me go to the Oculus store and see if it's still on sale. Because the game went on sale on all platforms at the same time, and I think it's this. Hold on, Fuzzy Dragon. Hold on, if you're still watching. It still says 62% off. So let me go to Steam and type it in and see what it says. Because I bought Space Junkies at the Oculus store, because I kind of noticed that, and a couple of people are saying that like, if you have the Oculus Rift, that you should probably buy the games from the Oculus store because they run better for whatever reason. If you have the same game, like a game like Space Junkies, that you might be, if you have the Oculus Rift, that you would be better off buying Space Junkies from the Oculus store because it'll run better, versus buying it from Steam. That's not a knock on Steam. It's just that you have the Oculus Rift and you have the Oculus store. So all that shit's probably going to be optimized, for the Oculus Rift. But let me check it out. Yes, Fuzzy Dragon. Space Junkies is still on sale at both Steam and the Oculus store for $14.79. So I would highly recommend getting Space Junkies at that price. I would not recommend getting it at $40, but it is well worth it at $14.79. So so if you've been thinking about getting Space Junkies, grab it, pick it up. Let me take a look real quick what the system requirements are. Minimum, you need a i5 4590 or a Ryzen 5 1500X. Graphics, you would need a GTX 970 at 4 gigabytes, or you would need an RX 480X with 8 gigabytes, and you need about 5 gigs worth of space available in order to download the game. So again, anyone who has VR, even if you have the PlayStation VR, we know that move support is coming. So even if you have the PlayStation VR, I would still recommend getting Space Junkies, regardless of what platform you're playing it on, because it's well worth the $15. So let me have a quick look at this Orbis Reborn, because I did type that in. Not exactly a fan of those graphics, though. Sorbus VR looked like something that might have a bunch of mini games in it. So let me see here. What's it? Okay, you can stand in one place or room scale. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to pay $40 for it, so I have to go to G2A and see if I can find it cheaper. So with that being said, I went 12 minutes past my deadline. So with that being said, I'm gonna get on out of here and get some VR in before the night ends. And again, the way I'm feeling right now, I'm probably going to play Space Junkies for about a half hour, 45 minutes, and then in the night off in chill mode on Poker Stars VR. So I will stream both of them. So give me a few minutes to get an ice cold drink to get my throat together. That didn't sound right. Yeah, I'm thirsty, so I need an ice cold drink. We'll put it that way. And I'll see you guys in a little bit on Space Junkies. And hey, and when you check it out, as I always do on Space Junkies, make sure y'all check out my dab. Look at my dab. Look at my dab. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. Damn, 2 hours. But yeah, getting back to the original subject, I'm really looking forward to. I believe it's May 21st or something like that. That I think demos for the Oculus Quest and the Oculus Rift S will go live. That is also the same day that Five Nights at Freddy's in VR releases, and that is also the same day that Everybody's Golf releases too. I am interested in Everybody's Golf. I mean, at the PlayStation Store, it says that it's a single player game. But I guess somebody on the VR Facebook group, somebody in there said that the game is multiplayer. So if Everybody's Golf turns out to be a multiplayer game, that is another game that I will be putting a lot of time in. So a lot of great games coming this year. Got to run the list down. Again, we got this month we got Five Nights at Freddy's. We got Everybody's Golf. We got Blood and Truth. And then I don't know when exactly it's going to happen, but we still have Iron Man VR. We have No Man's Sky in VR. I think we also have Vader Immortal this year, which I think is going to launch on the Quest at first and then come to the Rift, sometime after that. We also have Dead and Buried 2 coming this year, which I'm really looking forward to because I think Dead and Buried is a very underrated game on the Oculus Rift. I have a lot of fun with that game. And then I think also this year, I think we're supposed to get Lone Echo 2 as well, which is another game that I'm really looking forward to. So as I said before, with all the headsets that are coming out, along with all the games that are coming out this year, 2019 stands to be VR's best year yet. So it's a very exciting year this year for VR. I'm really looking forward for all this stuff. So, and then the best part about it, depending on how much some of these games get the goggles only. All right. And then the best thing about some of these VR games is, depending on how much some of these VR games cost, you can get 3 quality games for the price of one AAA game. $20 is the sweet spot with a lot of these VR games. Sometimes you'll for $20, sometimes you'll get a game this a very good game for the $20. Sometimes you'll get a game that's bullshit and $20 might be overpriced. But it is what it is. But still, $20 is the sweet spot for a lot of these games. For better or for worse. But again, a great year for VR. And all those games that I ran off, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Boneworks, I guess, is another game that people are looking forward to because they can't wait to try the Valve Knuckles on this game, Boneworks, because I'm understanding that Boneworks was made specifically for utilizing these Valve Knuckle controllers. So to me, the game looks like a tech demo, but believe me, once it's out, I'm going to be watching videos of this Boneworks game to, you know, see what it looks like. But so that's going to do it for me. Yeah, it's still all new, Thomas Hand. So that's going to do it for me. I'm going to get on out of here. Like I said, I'll be back on in a few minutes over here. Fire up this Oculus and play something here. I don't know how long, you know, Space Junkies, like I said, stream might only be up about a half an hour, and then I'll wrap the night up playing some Poker Stars. So check me out in a few minutes. Thanks everybody for watching. Give it a like, comment, share, all that good stuff. And we'll see you guys in a little while. You know, catch everybody later.